Da 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 da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, welcome, everybody. I hope you felt that energy a little bit better today than you did yesterday. I do feel a whole lot better physically, and I think waking up this morning, having a little bit of time for myself, being in the lessons, being in the contemplations, being in the little bit of housework that will set me up for the next couple of days. That will be my day off. It has put me in a good spirit, ready to conquer the world. I don't know because I know change is out there. I feel it. My body is buzzing. My body feels like I'm in a, I don't know, ready to jump out of the gate a little bit, maybe, and make some moves, make some change, throw the wrench into the mix a little bit, not in a self sabotagey kind of way, but in a way that gives me the need for new choices, right? To be able to make some choices. And I'm ready for that. I really am. I am exhausted when I feel that what I can contribute is about as much as I can contribute without it actually, right, making it so I don't enjoy my life as much as I did yesterday, or I don't feel like I'm accomplishing or making any headway like I was yesterday or the day before. It's not a matter of being disillusioned by that, but it's just seeing that there isn't any movement, right? That tells me that's not the direction that I want to be going in, right? That we're supposed to be going in a different direction. And I have to be that example. That's why I show up here all the time going live, right? Sharing this experience so that you can learn through my mistakes, right? Because we learn just as much as our mistakes as we do from our successes. The only difference is the mistakes are painful, right? The successes are celebrations and rewards. So we all prefer what brings us joy, which brings us comfort, which brings us laughter and excitement and adventure and love. We tend to move in those directions. And so when we are faced with making those decisions, which could put the wrench into the engine and stir things up so bad, and you're in the midst of dangling. And if you guys have hung out with me for any length of time, right? Dangling heights is it for me. And you're going, dangling heights? Well, it doesn't have to be. This is what I realized this morning. It doesn't have to be the physical, the actual, the realistic dangling in heights like I always thought it was, because I think you all the time, like, where did I get this fear of dangling heights? But the dangling heights is actually maybe, possibly, right? I'm not going to read too much into it because it just came to me in an insight today. So I want to put more thought into it. But could it be a metaphor of dangling and knowing the only thing you can do is let go? And the greatest fear is where you're going to land or how you're going to land, right? And that says to me that, right, we are fraidy cats in making those decisions that can stir the pot in our life. But right, we have to stir the pot. We have to make movement. That right, there's no greater understanding in my life, right? And being the experiencer and being the evidence when I show up here, right? If you see that that movement is making headway, that it's going in the right direction, that possibly, right, somebody else might make a little bit of movement for themselves, even though it's a little bit, right? And even though it might look different from the movement I'm making, because remember, those things that I'm moving towards are different. It's the idea of movement. It's the idea of putting that action in. It's in that movement of not standing back. It's that idea. What's that story? Right, where Gamora, where you're not supposed to turn around and look at the hairy scary and look at the disaster, and that's right. And I right first thing that came to my mind when I said that was what's going on with the fires down in California. Right, I had to delve a little bit deeper into it because it came across my path. So it's big, isn't it? And it's affecting everybody, right? And it's affecting people that that we don't know, but it's also affecting people that we do know, even if we live vicariously through their experiences. We have that perception in ourselves of we know these people, right? And it's difficult and it's scary, but we got to understand we help the best we can as we're moving forward, right? Because there'll be opportunities to scoop up along the way, or to stop and have a rest and a chit chat, or let somebody rest their head on your shoulder, or have some good advice to give somebody, or maybe a loaf of bread that you can whip out of a recycle bag, right? Maybe it's a band-aid in your purse. Maybe it's just that kind word, right? You go first, or, right? Thank you. Please. I'm sorry, right? That's all movement, right? And if you look at it that way, it can be a little bit daunting, right? But what else are we going to do? We can't sit on the couch with the remote control. We can't stay on the video games and just we're not even watching the world go by, are we? We're just being kept so busy in what's vying for our attention that, right? We are getting gobbled up by that, and we are being willing participants because of our own need to be safe, our own need not to be worked up, stressed out, made to be afraid, scared to make those moves that aren't going to be fun. They're not going to be easy. But in the end, right, if you can trust that possibly, just trust that you're going to fall in a good spot, right? You're dangling, right? I could be dangling, right? But I'm going to trust, understanding. I'm still going to be here tomorrow. I'm still going to be here tomorrow. Everything is going to be okay. Just keep going and try to make some of those decisions, because if you can make those decisions before those decisions are made for you, right? You have a little bit more say in that, right? You have a little bit of direction. You have a little bit of time to put a little cush underneath the fall, right? And that's a truth too, right? Okay. I didn't know what that conversation. I'm going to stop here and say hello to Hannah. I said to her last night, or him, Hannah, can you at least let me know, dear, if that's okay with you? Not that it matters, but I don't want to misgender somebody in any way, because, right, we live in a world of all kinds, and all kinds also means all kinds of names, and lots of names are not gender based. I have a niece named Charlie, right? Her name's Charlotte. So it's kind of neat. Aw, thank you so much. So yeah, thank you so much for popping in, and I'm glad that at the end of my live, I will at very least pop over into the comments to see who was right grateful or not grateful, that I was grateful and didn't recognize when they came in, right? At the very least, I understand that flow is there, and sometimes I do get distracted by the comments. So sometimes I don't go in, but I should go in at the very end. And if I see that spiel, right, I want to know what that spiel is. I want to see and hear what the good cheer is for the day, right? I hope that was some good cheer, right? That's little bit of pet talk for myself, little bit of motivation, maybe a little bit of inspiration, right? Understanding movement has to be made, and either we can choose and move in a direction, and if it's the wrong direction, we're going to be course corrected. You'll know right away if you're going down the wrong tree, right? But you'll also know by the pushback if it's really not the right place to be going down on that side branch, or if that is where you're supposed to go, but that's just something difficult, right? Remember, we're throwing the wrench in. We don't know where it's going to land. We don't know the hiccups and the dints and the mishaps of doing that's going to do. And that sometimes just means riding those waves until we can be on top of it and adapt and conquer and right make a little bit of movement until we have to make that decision again, right? And maybe we don't have to make that decision again because we made it before something or someone else made that decision for us. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer. Everybody, have a great day. Thank you, Hannah, for coming in and let me know. We'll see each other tomorrow. If not, if you guys want to come in and hang out on my other live, Hannah's a member. I'll have to give her a wrench. She's a big part of that conversation that goes over there. And yeah, happy to have her. And I'm happy to have anybody else, right? It takes all kinds to make the world. Kindness matters, right? But moving as a group matters too, right? So if we can all find ours, right? And yeah, make a little bit of movement for each of us and be that support for somebody else that might be trying to make a little bit of movement themselves. Okay, you guys, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.